My mother screamed, "If you're so smart, then pay your own bills," during an argument about my college major. So, I did something smart. I checked my credit score. What I found destroyed my family and sent my mother to prison. I'm Cassidy Morgan, 23 years old, and this is the story of how one cruel comment led me to discover my mother had been committing identity theft against me for 6 years. But let me start at the beginning, because the fraud was just the surface. Underneath was a lifetime of control, manipulation, and a mother who saw me as a resource to exploit rather than a daughter to love. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the only child of Diane and Robert Morgan. My father left when I was 7, just packed a bag one day and never came back. My mother always said he abandoned us because he was selfish and couldn't handle responsibility. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? After my father left, it was just my mother and me. She worked as an office manager at a medical clinic, made decent money, and we lived in a nice house in a good neighborhood. From the outside, we looked fine. From the inside, my mother was controlling in ways I didn't recognize as abnormal until much later. She controlled what I wore, who I talked to, what activities I could do. She monitored my phone, my social media, my grades. She made every decision about my life and called it being protective. When I turned 16, she told me I needed to start thinking about my future. She helped me open a bank account with her name on it as a joint account holder. She helps me apply for my first credit card, a secured card to build credit early, she said. I thought she was being a responsible parent, teaching me financial literacy. I had no idea she was setting me up. High school passed with me being the perfect daughter, good grades, no trouble, obedient. I got accepted to the University of Minnesota with a partial scholarship. My mother insisted I live at home to save money rather than staying in the dorms. I agreed. Of course I agreed. I always agreed. College started and I decided to major in computer science. I loved coding, loved problem solving, and saw a future in tech. My mother hated it. "Computer science? That's a boy's major," she said. "You should do something more appropriate, teaching maybe, or nursing." "I want to do computer science, Mom." "You're going to struggle. You're not technical enough for that kind of program." But I stuck with it, and I excelled. By my sophomore year, I had a 3.9 GPA and had landed a part-time internship at a local tech startup. I was thriving. My mother hated that, too. She started making comments. "You think you're so smart now with your computer classes. You're so arrogant since you've got that internship. You walk around here like you're better than everyone." I wasn't doing any of those things. I was just happy, successful. Finally finding something I was good at that I actually enjoyed. But my happiness seemed to make her angry. The final blow-up happened last month, right before winter break of my junior year. I'd been offered a summer internship at a major tech company in California. It paid $8,000 for 10 weeks, included housing, and was an incredible opportunity. I was ecstatic. I told my mother at dinner, "Mom, I got the internship, the one I applied for at TechCore in San Francisco. They're paying me $8,000 plus housing for the summer." She set down her fork. "You're not going." "What?" "Mom, this is an amazing opportunity. You're not spending your summer in California. You're staying here and getting a real job." "This is a real job. It's at one of the biggest tech companies in the country." "It's an internship. That's not a real job. You need something stable, something local." "Mom, this could lead to a full-time position after graduation. This is exactly the kind of experience I need." "I said no, Cassidy." "I'm 20 years old. You can't tell me I can't go." "As long as you're living under my roof, eating my food, and I'm helping pay your bills, yes, I can." "You're not paying my bills. I have my internship income. I have student loans." "Student loans that I co-signed, that I'm responsible for if you default. Do you have any idea how much I've sacrificed for you?" "I never asked you to sacrifice anything." "You ungrateful little—" She stood up, her face red. "If you're so smart, if you think you know so much, then fine, pay your own bills. All of them. See how smart you feel when you're drowning in expenses." "Fine, I will." "Good. And while you're at it, you can start paying rent, too. You want to be an adult? Be an adult. $500 a month starting next week. I stared at her. $500 a month? Mom, I'm your daughter. And you're also a grown woman who apparently doesn't need me anymore. So start acting like it. Pay rent, pay your own phone bill, your car insurance, everything, since you're so independent now. I went to my room, slammed the door, and cried for an hour. The next day, still angry, I decided to actually look at my finances. If I was going to be paying for everything myself, I needed to know exactly where I stood. I logged into my bank account first, checked my balance, reviewed my expenses. Everything looked normal. Then I decided to check my credit score. I'd never actually looked at it before. I knew I had that credit card my mother had helped me get at 16, which I'd used occasionally and always paid off. I figured my score was probably decent. I went to Credit Karma and created an account. What I saw made my blood run cold. My credit score was 542. That's bad, like really bad, subprime bad. But that wasn't the worst part. According to the report, I had 7 credit cards, 7, and a personal loan, and 2 retail store cards. Total debt, $47,328. I had 7 credit cards that I'd never opened. I had a $15,000 personal loan I'd never taken out. I had debt at stores I'd never even been to. And according to the report, several accounts were in collections for non-payment. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it. This had to be a mistake. Identity theft by a stranger. It had to be. But as I looked closer at the details, I saw addresses, account opening dates, and I felt sick. The first credit card had been opened when I was 17, at my home address. The others followed over the next few years, all at my address, some with my phone number, the phone number on the plan my mother paid for. I pulled up my credit report from all 3 bureaus. The details were the same across all of them. Someone had been opening credit accounts in my name for 6 years. And I knew exactly who. My hands shaking, I started documenting everything. I took screenshots of every account, every balance, every late payment. I pulled transaction histories where I could access them. I created a detailed spreadsheet. Then I decided to do something I should have done years ago. I called my father. I hadn't spoken to him since I was 7. I barely remembered him, but I still had his number. My mother had kept it in her phone in case of emergency, though she'd always told me he wanted nothing to do with us. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello?" "Dad, it's Cassidy, your daughter." Silence. Then his voice thick with emotion. "Cassidy, oh my God. Cassidy, I've been trying to reach you for years." "What?" "Your mother blocked my number on your phone. She refused to let me see you after the divorce. I tried, Cassidy. I sent letters, tried calling, even showed up at the house a few times, but she threatened to call the police for harassment. I've been sending child support payments for 16 years and hoping that someday you'd reach out." The floor dropped out from under me. She told me we survived on her salary alone, that my father had abandoned us completely. It was all lies. After I hung up with my father, I sat in my room doing research. Identity theft, credit fraud, what to do, how to proceed. By the time my mother came home from work, I had a plan. She knocked on my door around 6 p.m. "Cassidy, I'm ordering Chinese for dinner. Do you want your usual?" Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't screamed at me the day before. "Mom, can you come in here? I need to talk to you." She opened the door, looking wary. "About what?" "About my bills. Since I'm paying them now, I wanted to review all my accounts. Make sure I'm not missing anything." She relaxed slightly. "That's responsible. Good for you." "Yeah, so I pulled my credit report, just to see where everything stands." Her face went pale, just for a second, but I saw it. "And?" she asked, her voice carefully neutral. "And I have 7 credit cards I didn't open, a personal loan I didn't take out, and $47,000 in debt I didn't create." She was silent. "Mom, did you open credit cards in my name?" "I don't know what you're talking about." Mom, I have the documents. The accounts were opened from this address. Some have your phone number associated with them. I know it was you. She stood there, her jaw tight. Then, quietly, I needed help. Help? Mom, you committed identity theft. I was going to pay it back. I just needed to get through some rough patches. For 6 years? That's not a rough patch. That's systematic fraud. Don't you dare talk to me like that. I'm your mother. Everything I did for us. For us? This debt is in my name. My credit is destroyed. I couldn't rent an apartment if I tried. I couldn't buy a car. You didn't do this for us. You did this to me. I gave you everything. I raised you alone after your father abandoned us. He didn't abandon us. I called him. He's been paying child support for 16 years and you never told me. He's been trying to contact me and you blocked him. Her face shifted from defensive to cold. You called your father? Yes, and he told me everything about your gambling problem, about the divorce, about everything you've been lying about. He's the liar. No, Mom, you are. You've been lying to me my entire life, and you've been stealing from me for 6 years. She stepped closer, her voice low and threatening. If you know what's good for you, you'll drop this. You'll pay off those cards quietly, rebuild your credit, and we'll never speak of it again. Or what? Or I'll make your life hell. I'll pull my cosign on your student loans, and you'll have to pay them back immediately. I'll kick you out with nowhere to go. I'll tell everyone you're an ungrateful liar trying to frame your own mother. Don't test me, Cassidy. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger, someone who'd see me as a tool to exploit, a resource to drain rather than a person to love. I'm filing a police report, I said quietly. You wouldn't dare. I already have an appointment tomorrow morning, and I've contacted an attorney, and I've frozen my credit so you can't open any more accounts. It's done, Mom. Her face went through several expressions: shock, anger, fear, calculation. Then she settled on rage. You ungrateful little bitch. After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me? By trying to send me to prison? You did this to yourself. She grabbed her purse and keys. Fine, you want to play this game? Game on. Don't expect to ever hear from me again. She stormed out. I heard her car start and drive away. I sat in my room and cried. Not because I regretted my decision, but because I was grieving the mother I thought I had. The next morning, I went to the police station and filed a report. The officer who took my statement was sympathetic but clear. This was a serious crime that would be investigated and prosecuted. I gave them everything: the credit reports, the account details, the documentation my father had sent me showing child support payments she'd kept from me, everything. Within a week, detectives came to the house to question my mother. I wasn't there. I'd moved out and was staying temporarily with my father, who'd driven up from Des Moines the day after our phone call. My mother was arrested 2 days later on multiple counts of identity theft, fraud, and forgery. The legal process took months. She hired a lawyer who tried to paint me as a vindictive daughter lying for attention, but the evidence was overwhelming. Bank records, transaction histories, IP addresses showing the credit applications came from our home computer. She was offered a plea deal: plead guilty to felony identity theft, serve 18 months in prison, pay full restitution, and 5 years probation. She took the deal. Throughout the legal process, she never once apologized. She sent me one letter from jail that was just pages of blame. I'd ruined her life. I was a terrible daughter. I'd turned everyone against her. I didn't respond. What I did instead was rebuild my life. With my father's help and the advice of a financial attorney, I disputed every fraudulent account. It took months of documentation and affidavits and persistence, but eventually every single fraudulent item was removed from my credit report. My credit score went from 542 to 720 in 6 months. I accepted the California internship. My father helped me buy a cheap used car, and I drove across the country that summer to work at my dream company. The internship was incredible, and they offered me a full-time position after graduation. I'm finishing my senior year now, living in an apartment I share with 2 roommates. I have a job offer waiting for me after graduation. I have a relationship with my father that's growing stronger every day. I have a future that's actually mine. My mother is scheduled to be released from prison in 3 months. She's legally required to pay restitution of $47,328 plus interest, which will take her years. She lost her house to foreclosure, lost her job, lost everything. She sent me another letter last month. This one was different, more apologetic, talking about therapy and taking responsibility, but it still felt manipulative, like she wanted me to tell the court she'd changed so her probation would be easier. I didn't respond to that one either. My father asked me recently if I'd ever consider speaking to her again. Maybe someday, I said, but not because she wants me to, only if and when I'm ready, and I'm not ready. That's fair, he said. You don't owe her forgiveness just because she's your mother. He's right, I don't. Because here's what I learned. Being a parent isn't just biology, it's behavior. And my mother's behavior was to exploit, manipulate, and steal from me for years. She screamed, "If you're so smart, pay your own bills," thinking it would put me in my place. Instead, it led me to discover her crime, report her to police, and reclaim my entire financial future. She meant it as an insult, as a way to make me feel small and dependent. But I took it as a challenge, and I won. I paid my own bills, I fixed my credit, I built a life completely independent of her. And she paid for her crimes, literally and figuratively. The best revenge isn't anger or bitterness. It's building a life so successful that the person who tried to destroy you realizes they were just destroying themselves. My mother stole $47,000 from me and ruined my credit for 6 years, but I got it all back. Every penny through restitution, every point on my credit score through dispute, every opportunity she tried to take from me. And she lost everything. That's not revenge, that's justice, and it feels better than any apology ever could. Today, I have a 750 credit score, a job offer at a Fortune 500 company, and a relationship with my father I never knew I could have. My mother has a felony record, a restitution payment plan that will take a decade, and the knowledge that her own daughter chose justice over family loyalty. She taught me to be smart about money, just not in the way she intended. And now I'm smart enough to never let anyone, even family, exploit me again.